Okay. There it goes. I wonder if we should kill that light and just use the lamps. If it'll be enough light. Because that light's causing a glare.
Too dark?
Oh, yeah. That's way too dark.
I left them over here.
Gives new meaning to the term live after dark. Live in the dark.
In the dark. From
Completely
the dark.
in the dark. It's just that you have more glare. Do you have the anti-glare on your lenses?
I did. I ripped it off. I don't know. Well, I could do that, but then I can't see what anybody's saying.
That's okay.
Right.
I can see what they're
I
saying.
can just sit here and look pretty.
Where's your headband?
Yeah, that's what I need to get that.
Hey, Wendy. Hey, Kathleen.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Kim, Maria, Sharon, Susan, Heidi. The A-Team After Dark. Yes. Hi, Martha. How you doing, Martha? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Michael. A lot of the usual suspects I see. Sharon. I'm going to give people some time to get on because we're going to be here a while anyway. So might as well give people a good solid 10 minutes to show up. But hopefully maybe people are getting more notifications from this page than the other page. It's possible.
That'd be cool.
Princess is sleeping. Yes, she is. She's sleeping and stretching. So at some point, Erin will have to go back into the other room and straighten her braces out.
About 45, 50 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, then I'll go walk the dogs real quick. Yeah, do that, Abby. Get the dogs settled in because you don't want to have to. Oh, maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what you want to have to do or not. I don't know who I think I am. I'm nobody. Do what you got to do. We're not going anywhere. You're back home again after seeing your aunt. I hope she's doing well, Martha. We miss seeing you on the Patreon Zooms. Mm. I need a Kind People window cling for my vehicle. That would be cool. Unfortunately, I wish they just had like this plethora of stuff to choose from for the merch, but it's kind of limited in some ways. We wanted to do like bumper stickers or something, and they didn't even have access to that. I thought I was going to bed early tonight. You say that every night, Sharon. You've been busy, busy, busy. We're always busy, busy, busy. That has not changed. That was the way of the world long before this trip. Hi, Nana and Aaron. Aaron's name is actually Aaron. You should see it on the screen. Aaron. I know that's a common misspelling, people.
Well, the one is the Irish female name.
Yeah, but people spell it.
Aaron's the
people spell it Aronerin.
But like Aaron is how it's spelled in the Bible.
Yeah, Aaron is the correct spelling. This is why I don't tell you guys my real name, because people will butcher it and it will drive me nuts. I'm like, please just call me Nana. People have been calling me Nana for 6 years. It's my nickname. I'm good with Nana. Because if I tell you guys my real name and people try calling me by my real name, you're going to misspell it all day long, and I'm just going to be angry all the time. In fact, that's one of the misspellings of my name is angry. So we'll just stick with Nana. It's fine. Mom or Nana. I'll talk about that in a little bit. It's actually my preference. How many days until you all leave Florida? 6?
Yeah, less than a week.
Yeah. A week from today, and today is almost over. So hi from Israel. Hey, wow. Thanks for tuning in from Israel. What
Shalom.
What time is it in Israel right now? My nickname is Kiki. Oh, that's what we used to call Mimi. Kiki. Mimi's right here. I brought her into the bedroom the other night because I was missing her. So I've got my Mimi with me. I had a weird, like, dream-ish type thing the other morning. I had woken up and then fallen back asleep. And while I was sleeping, I felt like a cat climb up into my arm and laid like meowed like Mimi and laid there purring. It was very comforting. What's the temperature there? It feels like -14 in Minnesota. Well, it's not -14. It
60s,
is.
low 60s, maybe.
Excuse my
High
yawn.
50s.
I can't. Well, how come it doesn't
Oh,
show?
did 51.
Did it? Oh yes, 51. 51
Oh.
degrees. Sorry.
That's a like freezing here in Florida. It's blizzard weather for Florida.
I have missed you all. I'm back in Michigan since New Year's Eve. My dad passed away on Sunday. I'm really sorry to hear that, Jody. I'm sorry for your loss. There was, there were a couple comments on the page last night. One was a sister telling me about her sister who followed our story and our page, and she passed away recently. And then there was another woman who was talking about how she has stage 4 cancer and she follows our story and she feels, lonely and stuff. And I kept crying.
Yeah.
So it just,
it's like, man, this is a pretty
bringing me to tears.
Sad evening.
Yeah, but I like hearing from people and I like learning the stories of the people who follow us. And so it's important. I appreciate people sharing that kind of information with us. I just don't get to see it all the time, clearly, because of how many comments there are on the page. But it definitely broke my heart to read those ones. It was funny because I didn't know the woman who passed away, the sister. But just hearing from her sister how much she enjoyed following our page and that she was sharing that with her family, made me feel like as if I had known her at some point, and just made it all the more sad. Where's Anna? It's 10 o'clock at night. She is in bed sleeping. I'm heading back to Florida February 7th. We are going to pass each other. We actually will be arriving in New York around that time. Unfortunately, the video keeps freezing. A lot of people have been having trouble with that lately. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It's been a little bit frustrating. I've missed you guys so much. Where have you been?
Yeah.
We're here every day. What dating app did you meet Aaron on? It's called Facebook. And there's actually a video on this page that you're on of Aaron talking about how we met. So if you're curious about that, you can go watch that video now or later or whenever you feel like it. How long has it been? 8 minutes. We're going to give people 2 more minutes to show up and then we'll get started. Nothing frozen here but the weather. My son went to the house today to do mail. He's been handling our mail like every 2-3 weeks, just checking on things back home. And apparently there was a big snowstorm in Michigan today. So he was sending us video and telling us how junky the conditions were.
And traffic, right?
Yeah. Accidents and stuff. I'm like, why are you out driving in this stuff? He's like, because it's the only day I could do it this week. So let's see. Yeah, Sharon's got a trick that worked for her with the choppiness thing. Not only do I love learning about Anna's AMC journey, but I'm enjoying the company after my husband passed away. Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad we can be good company. I mean, we are on every day. It's not always the same time, but we are around every day. So at least you can rely on that pretty much. I mean, once in a while, like maybe we miss 1 or 2 days a month if we have stuff going on or we just get burnt out and don't feel like doing it. But it's really not a hardship. Like people, I don't think people, and they're like, oh my God, you're on every day. But it's an hour of our day. So
it's like any job, you got to show up at, but we just flip the screen on.
But yeah, I mean, what is it? So we turn on the camera and we talk to you guys for an hour and then we go back to, the stuff we have going on at home. And it's not like, well, we'll talk about all that in a little bit too. Are you all dreading going back to Michigan? Connie, we were talking on the screen porch tonight because I sat out there pretty much all day. We went out there to like clean up and pack. And
You're
I ended
safe.
up, yeah, I'm like, I'm not coming in. You can't make me. And I was joking with Aaron. I said, if we did one of those voiceover animated things of like a story about, our time in Florida or whatever, this moment would be me holding on to the side of the couch up in the air while you're pulling on my feet trying to get me out of Florida, and I'm screaming, no. I do not want to leave. I don't want to leave this house. I don't want to leave the state. I don't want to go back to the cold, but
I'm just I have no idea what I'm in store for. I'm scared because I'm from California, so all I know is winter is coming.
yes, winter is coming. Yeah. So, okay, well, it's been 11 minutes. So, I guess let's get started. Aaron has the list. We have made a list. We're going to try and stick to some sort of agenda. I cannot promise you if you ask comments that I will see them, because what's going to happen is I'm going to start talking about this stuff and I'm going to get on my, whatever of what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to be able to read comments while I'm talking, or it will distract me and I'll lose my train of thought. So, I will try in between sections to stop and look and answer a few questions. So try and hang on to your questions until there's a pause. Otherwise, it might just get overlooked. So the first thing that we were going to start with is why, how, and when social media history, mom or grandma. Why, how, and when. So we're going to go way back to the beginning. Why are we online? How did we start doing this? When did it start? So when my daughter was pregnant, and so I guess that first answers, are you mom or grandma? Biologically, I am Anastasia's grandmother. She was carried and birthed by my first child, my daughter. However, I have been raising her full time since she was 4 months old as my daughter. So we have lived our entire life together as mother daughter. And I have adopted her legally. So I am now her mother on her birth certificate. She calls me mommy. She has since she was about 2.5 years old. So I am her mother. So that's why things get a little confusing, because I still go by this Nana nickname for some reasons I already mentioned that I'll mention again later. And, once people read the story, they understand. But I don't want to be called grandma. I'm not a grandma. I don't feel like a grandma. I've never been a grandma. I've always been a mom. And so I am mom, mommy, Nana. You can call me any of those three things. They're all fine. Just don't call me grandma. My mom is grandma. My mother actually goes by grandma. So the breakdown of Anna's family dynamic, my parents are grandma, grandpa. I'm mom, Aaron's dad. So that's just how it works. Please respect that. So why, how, and when? We started on social media when my daughter was still pregnant with Anna. Probably around 8 months pregnant is when I started. Why? Because when my daughter found out at 18 weeks gestation that Anna had arthrogryposis, I was there. I was at that ultrasound appointment with her when she found out. I had the doctor write the name on a Post-it note because I didn't know how to say it, didn't know what it was, knew nothing about it. And I wanted to go home and Google it, because at the time I was an undergrad at University of Michigan in my 30s, because I went back to school when my kids were older. If you want to go way back, I had my children when I was 16 and 18. So I had my daughter when I was 16. I had my son when I was 18. So I had them very young, raised them by myself most of their life, went back to school when I was in my 30s. So at this point, I'm an undergrad trying to finish my bachelor's degree. My daughter gets pregnant. She was 19 at the time. She was not a young mom like I was. And anyway, I was at that appointment. The doctor said she had arthrogryposis. So I went home and Googled it, started looking up, trying to figure out like, what was this going to be like? How was she going to handle At her age, not being in a stable relationship, not having a stable job, not having her own place, how is she going to handle raising a child with a medical condition that no one had ever heard of? And in the process of Googling and trying to figure out more about arthrogryposis, I found some groups on Facebook. I found an arthrogryposis group on Facebook, like one of those support groups that anybody can join. And I joined that and I started talking to people in there about what to expect or what my daughter could expect with this child. And what ended up happening over the course of months was that I learned so much from these women. I ended up joining an arthrogryposis moms group, and I learned so much from these other families about the condition and, of course, how rare it is, that I wanted to give that back into the world. Like, I wanted to be able to share our journey with Anna's arthrogryposis so that people could come after us and learn about it the way I did, because it was so incredibly helpful. Like, people don't understand. They don't understand why we're on doing this, why we're sharing her condition. Her condition is rare. There's 1 in 3,000 babies are born with a type of arthrogryposis. 1 in 10,000 babies are born with Anna's type of arthrogryposis. So this isn't something you just, go to the local hospital or go to your neighbor down the street and find out about. You have to really do some digging to find the AMC community. And you have to really do your research to find out what this condition is and how to treat it and all that stuff. So the more people that are out there willing to share their story, the more helpful it is for these new parents, because the other side of this is that many of these parents, so it's not only people that don't know about this condition, it's doctors. Most doctors don't even know about this condition. They don't know what it is. They've never heard of it. And if they have heard of it briefly in their schooling, they haven't learned anything about it enough to be able to tell these parents what it's going to be like. So do you know what they're doing? To this day, they are still recommending to mothers who are diagnosed in utero with an AMC baby abortion, because they're telling them that they're going to have no quality of life, that they could be born with all these other issues, that they're not going to be able to function, and that they're better off letting them go because they don't have the information. So having a source of other AMC kids where you can go talk to other parents and see these kids as they're growing up and see, how successful they actually are is just huge. It's huge for new parents. So that's why I started sharing our story online, because I wanted to be there for the AMC community. When I started this back before Anna was born, we started in a private Facebook group called Anastasia's Arthrogryposis. It still exists today, but it's very private. It's locked down. I started sharing just for friends, family, and the AMC community. And so it was just literally like we do today, actually, a lot, just like a vlog of our day-to-day life. And some of the older videos that you'll see on the Facebook page and the YouTube were pulled over from that group. So they're kind of, it's strange because they're kind of out of context. Like, there's one of when she was a year old that she got upset because she had pulled on Mimi's tail or the back of Mimi's hair, and Mimi ran out of the room, and Anna got really upset about it. And she was like, why does the cat not want me? Like, and people go watch that video, and because they have no context, because it's from so long ago, they just see this little baby with a splint on her arm being all moody and upset, and they're like, oh my God, you broke her arm, you're abusing her, this is terrible, why are you laughing at her, blah blah blah, because they just have no idea. But yeah, a lot of those older videos were shared with family and friends and AMC family. They weren't even meant for the public at the time. And so I told you why we started doing what we're doing. How was just to be able to share with family, friends, and AMC family. And when was when my daughter was still pregnant with Anna. Over the course of time, what started happening was more AMC families were joining that private group. and they wanted to share what was happening with Anna's life with their family and friends. And so now I had all of these strangers wanting to come into our private group. And I was like, I'm not down with that. So that's when I think Anna was about 2 years old. That's when AMC Princess Anna was born. And I made the public Facebook page and the public Instagram. And that's, now we're here a few years later. But that's how all of that transpired. And then just touching on like how the content helps others, going back to like why I originally started doing this. The purpose was to pay it forward and share the story so other people could learn about her arthrogryposis and how, what she's been through and how it's worked for her. In the course of things, I never would have expected this to happen, but somehow it transitioned from not only helping the AMC community in that way of sharing our story and sharing information, but I always wanted to be able to start like some kind of fund or nonprofit to help AMC families financially, because the whole time I've been raising Anna until Aaron came along recently, I was a single mom, and we have to travel long distances for her care and her surgeries and her treatment. And it's very expensive. And I've always been very blessed to have friend groups and then later a platform where people were willing to help with those expenses. And I wanted to be able to give back in that way as well. So it worked out that we went from being able to share the information to being able to utilize our platform to raise money to help other people in the community, which is huge. And now it's even turned into something where people who aren't even in the AMC community, who don't even have arthrogryposis, are getting something out of our day-to-day life. Some may say it's inspirational, and then some may scream, that's not right because
exploitational.
Yeah, like I don't want to, use dirty words, but some people call it inspiration, PORN. I mean, that's not what we're going for, but somehow in sharing our life and our story, people seem to feel better about things or more motivated or like Karen says, joy, like, whatever, however helpful it is, like I don't mind how if it makes people feel better. I mean, I've been online using technology since I was pregnant with my son, and he's 23 now. So for 24 years, I've been using technology. I've been utilizing chat rooms to talk to people, to build a community of friends and have that, that sense of like a place where you belong and people you relate to. And it's a real thing. You don't have to do all that stuff in person. Some people can't get out of the house, and especially the last couple of years with this virus, I think it's really valuable to have any community where you feel like a part of, where you feel, where it's positive, a positive environment to spend your time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I think that over time we've started in some what's the word, like unintentional, not necessarily intentional way, like inherently we've become we've started helping other people outside of the AMC community. So that is the history. Does anyone have questions about the history of like how and when we started and what the point of all of this is? Why the heck do you guys do this? Any questions about that? I will stop briefly to answer a couple of questions and then we'll move on. Yeah, I see that a lot, Marian. Anna teaches a lot of people, and a lot of people that don't even have AMC, like older people who are having trouble just moving around or people who have had injuries. She teaches them how to do things, which we think is really cool. Anna thinks that's really cool. Love you too, Tara. Sue, we'll touch on that later on. Patty, how did Anna come into my life? I did talk about that. I don't know if you came in late. Lucy, I will answer that briefly. Lucy says, are you still in touch with your daughter Anna's mom? The quick answer to that is yes. But I'm not going to go into detail because I am very careful not to talk about my daughter and her life because she's not part of our page and our social media. And so I want to keep her life private. But the easy answer is yes, of course. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions that will probably be answered in time with some of the other stuff that we're going to go over. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. So the second thing we're going to talk about is ways that people can help us keep creating content and helping others. So we talked about how our content helps other people just, emotionally, mentally, things like that. And we're also, because of the nonprofit and on a more personal level out of our own pockets, helping AMC families and here and there other people that aren't even involved in the AMC community as things come up. For instance, Anna's her OT Nelda, who passed away because of COVID. We helped her family because she had 2 young girls that were left behind. And so, we try and do things like that as much as we possibly can. So ways people can help. So where are we? Let's talk about where we are located. We're talking about where we're located online. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. And we are on, what does that even say? We were on TikTok, but we're not really on there anymore. We are on Twitter, but it's really just an auto feed from Instagram. So those are the 3 main places. If you want to keep up with what's going on with us on a daily basis, if you're hardcore, then you want to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Those are the 3 places that you'll want to be, because sometimes we post things in different places that they're not posted in all 3 places. People have a lot of questions about, and different types of content, different platforms, different types of content. So like, is this about like videos versus
the
lives versus, so just to go over, because this is kind of like some generic technical information for people who don't understand all of the social media stuff. So there's videos, right? We film videos with a camera off the air. We do that in our free time when we're feeling, up to it, or we have an idea, or we want to do something fun. Anna and I did a lot more of that before the trip because we were home and we were in like our studio space. And so we filmed a lot more. Since we've been on the trip, we've been doing a lot more live streaming because it's easier when we're on the road. But videos are something that we film offline and then upload, and you guys go to the page and you watch them. Live streams are like this right now. You can see up in the corner, there's a red button. It says live. That tells you that we're actually live right now. You can get on a video later and it will be a live stream that we did, but there won't be a big red live button in the corner. That means we are no longer live. You're watching a live that was recorded earlier. But live streams are different than videos in the fact that they happen live at the time and they're not pre-recorded and they're not edited. Everything is as it is, minute by minute.
It's like the olden days when it was filmed before a live studio audience.
Right. And now there's this new thing on Facebook called Reels. They're basically just short clips. It's kind of like TikTok. Facebook has brought TikTok videos to Facebook. That's essentially what it is. We might be getting close to straightening time if you want to go check on her, because I just heard her. And so Reels are just short little video clips, and you'll see some of those now on our page because it's a new thing that Facebook and everyone is doing. So those are the ones where like we like do the little stickers in the backgrounds, and she was a dinosaur, and then she was an ice dragon, and stuff like her. She was like eating snowflakes the other day, the fun ones. Those are Reels. And Stars. A lot of people want to know what stars are and what's the point of them and how do they do it. So stars are something that Facebook created for live streaming, like we're doing right now. Facebook added a stars button. It was a way for viewers to tip the people they're watching. I think it started with gamers because there's people that play video games and they live stream them playing the video games. And so people would watch them and like send tips to like help support them if they like what they're doing. And then they just extended it onto everyone who live streams, who is like at the level that we are. So that's what stars are for. They're tips. And sometimes we keep the stars for ourselves, and sometimes we use them for, if we're helping someone else. We always announce, we are always transparent about what we do with the stars. We usually put up a goal, and so you can actually see when we're live what those stars are going for. Like right now, you should see somewhere, it should say that the stars are to help with our trip home. So for the month of January and February, we're going to be keeping the revenue from the stars for ourselves because we have this trip home and it is going to be pretty expensive. But then in the month of March, we have an AMC family that we're going to be helping with the stars. And we helped with people with the stars in October, November, and December. So it's been like 3 months since we kept them for ourselves. So we try and balance. Usually we try and alternate. We keep them for ourselves 1 month, we help someone the next month, keep them for ourselves. Like we go back and forth. But it's been a little different because of the holidays and stuff. Why do we do stars? Well, because it's an option that Facebook provides and because it's an additional revenue stream. So it is some income. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit of income. We get 1 penny for every star that we receive. So if we receive 100 stars, that's $1. I don't know how much you guys have to pay for the stars. I know that it varies. If you click on the stars button on your phone and you buy stars that way, there are fees involved in that transaction that are put forth not only by Facebook, also by Apple and by Android, depending on what platform you're buying them on. And so they're more expensive on your phone because of Apple and Android. But if you go to this new website that Facebook has created, and the website is fb.com/star. They try to keep it simple, fb.com/star. You can get them without those extra mobile platform fees. And so you get bonus stars and stuff too. So if you're someone who likes utilizing the stars system and you buy a fair bit of them, it's probably worth your while to go over to the website, fb.com/star, and get them there because you're going to get more bang for your buck. How do I do it? As far as I know, that's what you do. You click on the star button and you decide how many you want to give at any given moment. And you can purchase them the 2 ways I already mentioned. So that's the deal with the stars. I think we also wanted to mention that during live streams, I think it's important for people to understand that even now, it's hard for me to catch all of the comments. For one, because I'm talking and I can't read while I'm talking because it's distracting. And for two, because they go by quickly. There's only 602 people on right now, and they still are, they're moving. They're not moving as fast as they typically do, but they're moving. But when you go on a main page live stream, we have like anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people on typically. Maybe not so much more recently. It's been a little slow, but tonight there was like 1.4. So they fly. And not only that, but when I do it on my phone, I have exactly this much space of comments. So there's about 3 one-line comments that fit on the page. So if you send a comment, it is likely that it just gets pushed off the page and I never even see it. But some people get frustrated and they think that they're not being seen, or they think that they're deliberately being ignored. Nonsense. Nobody's deliberately ignoring you. They're just getting pushed off the page.
The other thing is if you want to be seen, it's better to write just like 1 sentence, because the more you write, the faster it's going to get pushed off, and we can't read like part of it if you're writing the big paragraphs of comments.
Yeah, even 2 or 3 sentences, sometimes it's just too much. You don't have time to catch it. We can't read it all before it's gone. So definitely the shorter things get read more frequently because they get seen more frequently. And then real quick, dealing with spammers on live streams, we do our best. I know that people are always coming on pretending they love your profile and they want to be friends with you. And, people spamming stickers and bad websites and all that kind of stuff. We try to keep on top of that stuff as much as possible. We have moderators that help when they can. I try to ban people as I see them. Sometimes I have to go back and do it later because the comment goes by so fast I can't catch it. But another way that people can help us keep doing what we're doing other than sending stars is Facebook supporters. So people might want to know, what's a Facebook supporter? So there's actually a separate thing that Facebook started called the supporters. It's something that you do through Facebook. You go click on the supporter tab to start that, and it's like $4.99 a month. And it automatically, the transaction goes right through Facebook. And what you get with that membership is access to a special Facebook group where all of the Facebook supporters hang out. It's actually pretty active. We have a lot of people who post in there regularly, and people chit chat with each other and kind of get to know each other. I pop in there as much as I can and respond to posts and say hi to people as they're joining and stuff like that. Once in a while, I'll post some throwback videos or some, extra content that doesn't get posted on the main page. So it's like a special, thing for the supporters. And those supporter subscriptions do add up. We don't get all of that $4.99, of course, because anytime you do anything online, there are transaction fees, and Facebook keeps a little chunk of it. But, we get a portion of it, more than half. And that is a part, again, of our monthly income. So we've got the stars, which is a part of the monthly income. We've got the Facebook supporters, which is part of the monthly income. And those things help us pay our regular bills, help us pay our rent, help us pay our gas, help us pay our food. Anna's lessons, like if we need clothes. I just had to buy Erin some warm weather clothes for going back to Michigan. So just, whatever, the same kind of stuff that you pay every month for your bills, we have the same expenses. And the other supporter option is Patreon. Now that is a much smaller community. And that's a separate platform. So you actually go to patreon.com, and we have an account over there. Lots of musicians and influencers and different types of people make Patreon accounts. It's a pretty normal thing. I actually hesitated and didn't want to do it for the longest time because I was worried that I wouldn't be able to give value. Like I was worried that people would just feel like it was a waste of their money, like they wouldn't get anything out of it. But I wanted to create a smaller community because the thing is, the page was growing rapidly. And on the main page, it's very difficult to get to know you guys. Like there's 415, I think, 415,000 people following the main Facebook page now. That's a lot of people. And people come and go, and I don't get to, talk to them. I don't see a lot of the comments. Like it's just really just us sharing and people kind of consuming that. I do see people, I get to know their names. If they're on the live streams a lot and they comment a lot, I do recognize names, but I don't really get to know them. So the nice thing about Patreon is that there's only right now about 80 members, and they're never all on at the same time. So we really get the opportunity to get to know the people who are sharing their time with us, who are sharing our life. It is a varying membership system. So it starts at 10. There's 4 tiers. There's $10 a month, which gets you a Patreon membership and gets you access to special Patreon live streams that are held in an even more private Facebook group. So you get to get on twice a month at regularly scheduled times. It's the only place where they're regularly scheduled. And, we do the same thing we're doing now. But the nice thing is, because there's only ever like 20 people in their tops, I can see all the comments and I can answer all the questions, and we can have conversation back and forth, and it's really cool. There are 3 higher level tiers. There's a $25 a month, there's a $50 a month, and there's $100 a month. And of course, the VIP and the VIP Plus there's not a lot of people that do that because it's expensive, and that's fine. It was meant for the people who really could and wanted to. It's not expected to be the norm. The $100 tier, I actually donate $25 of that 100 to our nonprofit every month. So that's part of the deal. And at $25 and up, we do Zoom video chats with those Patreon members twice a month on the opposite weeks from the live streams. So we actually get on Zoom with these people. Everybody has to be on video. Everybody has to have a microphone. We get to look at you face to face. We get to learn your name. We get to learn about your family. We get to meet your dog. We get to talk about all the things that you're going through, all the things that we're going through. We share a lot more information with our Patreon members because we do get to know these people, and they become friends, and then they become family. We have people who we have been getting to know in there for almost 2 years now, and we love them like they are family members, and we will meet them in person someday. Not right now because of the pandemic, but it will happen. So Patreon is a very big deal to us. Like I said, I was hesitant to start it at first, but now I am so glad that I did. And the other way that people can help support us is merch. And that's kind of a newer thing. We started doing t-shirts with some of Anna's cute quotes on them a year and a half ago in order to help raise funds for Anna's surgery and stuff like that. But now it's like a static all the time. We have like a merch store. And all of that money, not 100% of it, because clearly there's fees as usual, but all of the profit from the merch goes to us. We do not donate that money. It does not go to our nonprofit. It goes into our pocket. That is part of our income stream. Some people may not like that, but that is extremely normal for online influencers. They all have merch. They all pocket that money. It's the way that you diversify your income. You cannot only rely on Facebook ad revenue for your income every month because it's not stable. It's not reliable. So you have to have multiple sources of income, and merch is a very common one. And it's one that people who follow you regularly actually tend to enjoy. They like repping the AMC Princess Anna garb, like people like having the kind people do beautiful things bracelets. Like it's just something, and you don't have to buy it. Not everybody needs to spend money on that stuff. Not everybody wants to, but it's there if you're interested, and it does help us. We don't have that's not a big part. We're not making $10,000 a month selling t-shirts. That's just not happening. But it is an additional income stream, and it does help a couple $100 a month or something. People have been asking a lot lately about, why don't you have a GoFundMe for her? Do you accept money by Venmo? I want to send you gifts. We don't do any of that stuff right now. I have done a GoFundMe in the past when I needed to raise money for this big trip. We had a GoFundMe that was open for like a year and a half because she was originally going to have this surgery back in 2020, and then it got pushed to 2021, and then yada, yada, yada. So, but once I raised what I needed, I shut it down because I'm not just all about just taking money endlessly. There was a reason for it. And I kept the GoFundMe contributors up to date every couple months or whatever about like what was going on. And I provided a list of where everything was spent and how it was spent. So I was completely transparent throughout that process about where that money went. And I actually still have $5,000 of that GoFundMe money sitting in my savings account because that is only for Anna and only for Anna's medical care. Like the entire pot of that money raised was for. And so we're going to be using that money to help pay for her orthotics because I have to pay for 50% of her new braces, both sets. So we'll be using that for that. We don't do Venmo because we don't take money like personally like that, because I don't want to have to deal with reporting that as income. That's like a whole other tax, pages of tax stuff that I just don't want to deal with. So we don't do it that way. If you want to help, like the best ways are going to be Patreon membership or purchasing merch or sending stars or anything like that. And then as far as gifts, we're not doing gifts right now. We're not accepting any mail just because we're going to be moving around. We're leaving here in a week, and we have a 3-week basically road trip, although we have a stop in New York for a week and a half, but it's a road trip. And then once we get back to Michigan, we don't know how long we're going to be there. We may end up having to leave and go to Canada if something happens with this movie that Anna's working on. So right now it's just safer to not have people send mail, because I don't want people sending mail and then it getting sent back to them or getting lost or anything like that. So it's better to just hold off on the mail until we're in one place again for a while. And let's see, what else do we have in this section? Best ways to help for free. What about collaborations and endorsements? We haven't really done any collaborations and endorsements yet. So while we do have over 400,000 followers, we're not at the level that people are approaching us to do collaborations. Maybe when we get over 500,000 or closer to 1 million, then we might have some companies say, hey, will you do this and that, and we'll pay you a couple $100 and give you a discount or whatever. I'm not so keen on doing stuff like that, just because when we like something, when we like a product or we want to share something with you guys, we just do that because it's a cool product. Like, I don't necessarily want to get involved in a contractual obligation over things like that. So I don't know. We'll see, what happens. And then best ways to help for free. That's important, because I know that most people don't have extra money to buy stars, to become a monthly supporter, or to buy t-shirts. And that is fine. And we don't expect that of people. So please don't think that we do. That is there as an option for people who can and want to. And for anyone who can't or doesn't want to, we have no problem with that. You can help for free if you want to. The ways that you help us without spending any money is by spending your time. You go watch our content. That's the biggest way. Liking the videos, following the page, commenting on the videos, sharing the videos. Those things are all helping us, because the primary source of our monthly income is ad revenue. So when you're watching one of our videos and an ad pops up, and I know they're annoying, I get it, that gives us, I don't even know how much it is, maybe 25 cents. I don't know. It's some very small fraction of money, but it adds up. And so that's where we earn the most of our monthly income, is from ad revenue. It's from the videos and the live streams that we do. It's from those ads. So, okay, that's the end of that section. That was ways people can help us keep creating content and helping others. So if you like what we're doing and you want to help us keep doing what we're doing, those are all the ways. So does anyone have any questions specifically related to that? I'm going to stop for just a couple minutes to answer questions and take a drink. And then I'm going to move on, because again, we have like 5 more sections to get through, and we've been on 48 minutes now. Thank you, Stephanie. I hope the explanations are helpful. I know that people ask about a lot of this stuff frequently. So it's not easy. I can't, it's hard to keep repeating it on every live stream, but hopefully this video will help people. Oh, Beverly has a good one. A way to help people can use Amazon Smile for your nonprofit. And I think I might talk about that. I haven't gotten to the nonprofit yet. That's the next section. We were just talking about ways to help us specifically. But yes, Amazon Smile, if you use Amazon a lot, you can add our nonprofit to your Amazon Smile account. And what happens then is, as long as you go to Amazon Smile and check out with your Amazon cart, Amazon will donate like 5% of whatever your total is to our nonprofit. So that's cool. Do you get money from YouTube? We do, Michael, but it's very, very little money. We have only 14,000, not quite 14,000 followers over on YouTube. So 14,000 versus 400,000. So you can imagine the fraction of it's almost nothing from YouTube right now. That is one of our goals for this year, is to build up our YouTube subscribers. They call it subscribers. I don't know why, because I think it scares people, because people think, oh, I have to subscribe, so I have to pay something. It's not. It's the same thing as clicking the follow button on Facebook. But yeah, our goal is to build up and hopefully get our YouTube followers, I'll call them, to, I don't know, what would be a reasonable, maybe 100,000 or something. It'd be nice to start building that side of things. Because again, that diversifies the income stream. Then we don't have to worry about Facebook. If Facebook goes down, or if Facebook's algorithm goes wonky like it did for the last 2.5 months and everything tanks, then we're not like freaking out because our only source of income has dropped drastically like it just did in the last couple months, because we would have something coming in from YouTube as well. Let's see. I prefer YouTube. Yeah, a lot of people prefer YouTube, and I try as much as I can to make sure we're on there as much as we are on Facebook, because I do think in some ways it's a more stable platform. I like the option on the merch page to give money directly to you for whatever your needs are. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that, Carol. That's true. Thank you for that, Carol, by the way. You can go over to the merch, to the shop where you buy merch, and just donate money that way. There is a small fee taken out of it. So like if you donate $20, we might get, I don't know, $18.50 or something. Maybe it's not even that much taken out. I really don't know, but that is a way that you can, if you want to just send money directly. I'm really not all about, like, the thing is, right now we are paying our bills every month with our ad revenue. So we're not like in a place where we like, oh my gosh, we need money to survive. We need you guys to send us money. Like, I'm not about pandering for money, because we're not in a place where we need to, like, we're covering the rent. We're fed, we're clothed, like things are okay. So, and we're not raising money for a medical trip right now. So I'm not all about like asking people for money. Like, if you want to send money to help, of course we will find a great place to put it. Anna is involved in a lot of things. It'll go to good stuff. It's not like, none of us smoke, we don't drink, I don't go get my nails done regularly. We're not driving fancy cars. There's none of that going on. But we're just not in a place where we need to beg for money or anything. So it's kind of like, if you want to buy merch, if you want to send stars, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's helpful. But I'm not going to, go out of my way to beg people for anything either, because we're not, it's there and we appreciate it. But what is the page to go to your shop to buy the shirts? Oh, so you go to our website, which is amcprincessanna.com, and you click on the shop button. It's that easy. amcprincessanna.com, and then click on the shop button, and it'll take you into the store. And then you can look at all of the wares, and if you see something you like, buy it. If not, no big deal. No hard feelings. Okay, so let's move on to ways that you can help other people directly, or ways that we help other people directly, or the other part of the reason why we do all of this, because I know you guys want to get to the juicy stuff, which is coming later. So let's get through this section. This section is mostly about our nonprofit. So like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, one of the things that I always wanted to do was have some kind of foundation or fund or nonprofit to help other people in our AMC family. And when I say AMC family, I'm talking about the greater community of kids and adults with arthrogryposis who are living with the condition, families who are raising kids with the condition. And the reason that I wanted to help those people, goes back to, so like I said, I had my kids when I was 16 and 18. 16 and 18 years old. I did not live at home. I moved out of the house when I got pregnant with my daughter. I struggled their whole life. My kids grew up in a household where we were pretty poor. I was on welfare for many years. Um, that's, I had a 10th grade education because I dropped out of high school when I got pregnant with my daughter because I was ashamed to go to school. And so I did not even get my GED until I was pregnant with my son 3 years later. So, not, the best circumstances under which to raise children, but that's what my life was. That's how my adult life started out. And all the time my kids were growing up, when I needed help, people were there to help. We utilized the Goodfellows at Christmas time. They provided food and presents for my kids at Christmas time. I remember people coming to the house and giving us coats, winter coats and boots and gloves because they needed them. And, I was a single mom most of their life. It was very hard to work and take care of them because, as you might know, or you might not, when you are a mostly uneducated or at least non-degree holding single woman with children, you don't make much more than minimum wage. And minimum wage is not enough to cover the cost of living. And so you end up working to pay for childcare, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like, you work and all your money goes to childcare. So, yeah, we spent a lot of years needing help, and people were there to help. And I always said that I couldn't wait to be in the position of being able to give back. And so then, as I said, when my kids got older and they were going into high school, my daughter was in high school, my son was heading that way, I decided to go back to school. I was actually married previously for 5 years to a friend, didn't work out. And when we split up, I said, I'm not going back to being on welfare. I don't want that anymore. And so I decided to go back to school. I did 2 years full-time community college, got my associate's degree, did far better than I ever imagined. Having a GED with a 10th grade education blew my mind. I actually graduated top of my class and gave a speech in front of 3,000 people. Crazy. Talk about something that you do that you'll never be afraid of talking in front of people ever again. Anyway, then I got accepted into University of Michigan in Ann Arbor to get my bachelor's degree, which was even more mind-blowing. And so I moved on to do that. And then I got my master's degree at University of Michigan. And so I did 6 straight years of full-time school. And it was insane. And it probably almost killed me, but I'm here. And finally, after that was done, I was in a place in my life where I could support myself at 36 or something like that. But when I finished my undergrad, that's when Anna came. And so I had to finish grad school while raising her, which again put me back in the position of being a single parent. And needing help and taking a lot of student loans, which I will be paying until the end of time. And like I said, I've always wanted to get to a place of giving back. And raising Anna and having to travel so much and needing help with getting her to Philly, getting her to Florida for surgeries and treatments and stuff. I had friends who pitched in and helped with those expenses. And then later we had this Facebook platform, and strangers were willing to pitch in and help with those expenses. And that has never, it's never escaped me how blessed we are for what we've had, for what I've had over the years, for the help that I've had. So when the Facebook page started getting to the point where I had extra, because I've only ever wanted to have enough. To get to the point where you have just enough to cover what you need is such an amazing feeling of like, I don't have to panic about how I'm going to pay the rent next month. And so once I got to the point of having enough, then it was time to start giving back. So that's why we created the nonprofit, helping AMC families. And it's a legitimate 501c3 through the IRS, the whole 9 yards, all of the laws and legalities that come along with that. Some people like to try and accuse me sometimes of living off the nonprofit profit, and I can promise you that's not even legally possible. That money that is raised that goes to helping AMC families, that I also contribute to, that lots of strangers have contributed to over the last year, that money is off limits. We can't even ask the nonprofit for money to help with our expenses, because that would be a conflict of interest, because I'm the president of the nonprofit. My friend is the vice president. Dr. Feldman's wife is on the board of directors. Another AMC mom is on the board of directors. There's a system in place for checks and balances and reporting. And in the first year, we raised over $50,000 with the help of you guys. And I think right now the nonprofit bank account has about $75,000 in it. And so we started, finally, it took a while to get systems up and running and get the website going and everything. But finally in October, we started doling out financial assistance. And what we're doing is we're helping AMC families with up to $5,000 a year. They can use up to $5,000 at any one time. For any medical expenses, if they need help with travel expenses or insurance expenses or orthotics or renovating a bathroom or getting a wheelchair accessible vehicle, whatever it is that is on our list of approved things, they can fill out an application, explain everything. Of course, we have to collect proof and paperwork and all of that. But we are picking one family or AMCer per month to support. We feature them on our nonprofit website. We tell their story. We share their story. And then we help them with what they need. And like I said, they basically have a bank of like $5,000 to spend. And if they don't spend all of that, they have access to the remaining balance for up to a year. So hopefully that's helpful. And I'd love to do more than that. Hopefully the nonprofit will grow and get to the point where we can help more than one family per month. But right now it's just one. Because like I said, we started off with a little over $50,000 for the year. And so 5,000 times 12 is what, 60,000. So we're trying to not, we don't want to overspend. So who does it help? That's who it helps. How you can help with the nonprofit is by going to helpingamcfamilies.org and donating. Sometimes we put donation buttons up on some of our posts on the main page. Helping AMC Families has an Instagram account, has a Facebook account. There's a donation button on the Facebook account for Helping AMC Families. So those are all the ways that you guys can help with that nonprofit. And like I said, that money all goes to helping other people, not us. Does anyone have any questions about the nonprofit? I'll give it a couple of minutes. Aaron will be back eventually. He's straightening out Anna's braces and getting her tucked back in. Yeah, it feels pretty amazing to be to the point where we are able to help others. And we've done it in other ways too. I don't know if I talk about that later, but if you were around, like I said, in October, we used the money from our stars on Facebook. That money goes into our personal account. We used that money to help the family of Anna's OT that passed away from COVID. In November, we used all of the stars donated to us to help families staying at Quantum House, which is a place where a lot of AMC families stay when they're down here for surgery and treatment. We purchased 4 big, healthy, catered meals for them. 62 people, I think, stay there. So 62 people we purchased meals for 4 different times throughout the month of November. So that's where the money went in November. And in December, we pitched in not only our stars, because we only raised like maybe 3,000 in stars. So we used about $8,000 of our own money plus the $3,000 from stars to pay off bills and debts for some AMC families that had debts from like PTOT and surgery bills and stuff like that, lodging expenses, just to kind of alleviate, take some of the stress off of them before the holidays. So those are other ways that, you know, the nonprofit helps people, but that's a separate pot of money. We also help people with our own money as much as we possibly can. So like I said, getting to a point of having what you know, your basics that you need. And then beyond that, anything extra is, you know, money that I can start as I see people and as I feel the need to helping other people. Is there a way we can mail a check to a PO box for your fund? Yes, Linda, if you go to the website amcprincessanna.com and you scroll down to the bottom of any page, you'll find a contact us button. And on that page, you'll see the PO box for the nonprofit. And you can definitely send a check to the nonprofit that way. So the PO box for the nonprofit is fine. You can still send stuff there. You just can't send, please don't send personal things for us to the nonprofit PO box. Right now, that is just strictly for the nonprofit. All right, I am going to move on. The next section is how do we live? So this is where things, I know you guys have been asking a lot of these questions. How do we live? So in order to talk about like how this all works, I want to kind of give a general overview of how social media works for influencers, content creators, vloggers. You know, they're kind of all similar, you know, so I would consider us vloggers, and some people call us influencers. I suppose on some levels we are, but it just feels weird to me to say that we're influencers. But you know, we guess social media influencers, or we're part of the family vlogger community. There's other family vloggers you might follow, like Fathering Autism or the Crosby family. What are some other popular ones? Like they're all family vloggers as well. They're all doing the exact same thing that we are doing. They're living off of their ad revenue and creating content and sharing their lives and their stories. They're just doing it on a bigger level, a more grand scale, because they've been doing it longer than we have, and they have a much larger audience than we do. So they're at a higher level. I just started on section 4. She good?
Yep.
Everything's cool?
She's good.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so how social media works for these people. So influencers, it's a term that came from Instagram. It's kind of speaking to the fact that these people started sharing photos and very like high level kind of markety images, and encouraging people to buy things, right? Encouraging people to buy clothes, encouraging people to buy makeup, and that's, you know, they're influencing your purchasing decisions. They are influencers. And content creators are people like our friend Brandon Ferris. He makes videos regularly and posts them up, and he does it to make you guys laugh. That's, you know, he makes funny videos, and that's his thing. It's not so much about sharing his life. It's about entertainment. And so a lot of people do content creation. Some of them do it for making you laugh. Some of them do it to scare you. Some of them do it for just to get you stuck watching their video so they can earn ad revenue. That's a thing now. Have you ever started watching a video that has absolutely no point, and by the end of it you're like, why did I just spend 10 minutes watching this video? They're content creators. That's what they do for a living. And then vloggers like us. And yes, like some of you guys said, Cody Speaks, Fathering Autism. Yeah, those are all family vloggers. So the way it works for people like us is that when you hit a certain level of followers and video activity, so it's not just followers, you have to have at least 10,000 followers on Facebook. It's different for every platform. But you also have to have a certain amount of views on your videos, and you have to have like a certain amount of repeat activity. So when you hit that magic number that Facebook or YouTube designates for you, then they offer you the opportunity to put ads into your content. So at that point, you say, sure, you can put ads in my content. And so the advertisers, let's just say Tide, for instance, they pay Facebook to put their ads on Facebook, right? It's like any other marketing platform. It's like when you watch your television and you have commercials. It's the exact same thing as commercials on your TV. So they're paying Facebook to put their commercials on Facebook because they want you to buy Tide. And so what Facebook does is they say, if you let us put these commercials in your video content, we'll give you a little bit of what they're paying us to do these commercials. It really is a little bit, but it makes people money who wouldn't otherwise have that money. And Facebook's providing the platform, and they're providing the consumers or the followers or the people who are seeing your stuff. So it makes sense that they would get the most of that money. And so then a portion of that money that you get for every 1,000 video commercial views is ad revenue. So basically, you watch a commercial on our video, every time 1,000 people watch that same commercial, we get $2 or something like that. I don't know what the exact, they deliberately don't give you the exact number crunch, but it adds up over time.
It also changes depending on a whole bunch of variables.
Yes, there are all these variables. So your number of views affect it. The amount that the advertiser is willing to pay is different on every video. It goes up and down constantly. Back in the beginning of November, our RPM, as they call it, was like $14. And today it's like $5. So even if we have twice as many people viewing the same video, we're getting half as much ad revenue for it because that RPM is so much lower. And yeah, those things fluctuate hourly. So it's not a consistent thing. It's not anything you can bank on. As soon as you think you understand the system, it changes. And that's the way of the world. That's how it works for people like us. So like I said earlier, ad revenue, if you want to make a pie chart, is the bulk of our monthly income. The revenue that we get from people watching our videos on Facebook, from watching the ads while watching our videos, that is the majority of our monthly income. That is what we use to pay our rent, to pay our utilities, to pay credit card bills, to pay for the food, to pay for, all those things, the same pot that the other revenue goes into from the stars, from the merch, from the supporter subscriptions. That's all the same revenue. It's a pie chart, and like a big chunk of that is ad revenue. So that is our job. That means this is our job. Everybody wants to know, what do you guys do for a living? This is what we do for a living, and it is a legitimate job. And I can tell you with every fiber of my being that I work many more hours, much harder and longer on a daily basis now than I ever did when I was working outside of the home. It's very long hours. It's every single day. It's 24/7. And you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it because of the reach that we have, because of the lives we are changing, because of the information that we get to share, and all of the things that I talked about in the beginning. It's worth it. There are downsides, but ultimately it is worth it. And this is what we do for a living. This is our full-time job. ad revenue. Sounds crazy. It's not traditional. We don't have to leave the house to work. That's the deal. That's what it is. Um, so yes, in-stream ads, ad revenue, how ads work, RPM, algorithm, demographics, why you see the ads. We've talked about most of that. I guess the one thing we haven't talked about is like the fact that ads are demographic related. So the ads that you see on our videos have nothing to do with us. We don't get to pick those. We don't decide who displays on our videos. Facebook determines that, or the advertisers determine that based on how good our videos are, how many people are watching it. Like the big advertisers aren't going to want their ads posted on little minuscule influencers and content creators. So the better your page is doing, the better ads you get. And they pick which ads you see based on where you live, your age, your gender, your spending habits, what pages you frequent. And yes, they track all of those things. I think you all know that. If you have a smartphone, they know all that stuff. There's no getting out of it. So don't even bother worrying about it. You're not doing anything wrong. You don't have a reason to worry. They're tracking everything you do. It's just the way it is. um, So we talked about stars, we talked about supporter subscriptions. That's a very common thing. It's not something that we're doing that other people aren't. Stars across the board, different influencers use their stars for different things. If you guys follow Kristen Hampton, she uses stars predominantly to donate to other nonprofits, which is wonderful. It's great that she's able to do that, and she earns a lot of money for these nonprofits. It's really cool. And supporter subscriptions. Tabitha Brown has Facebook supporters. Lots, all the people do supporter subscriptions. It's just the thing. Why and how it became a full-time job. I think we kind of covered that already because we talked about I guess I could talk a little more about how it became full-time. So, like I said, I started all of this when my daughter was still pregnant with Anna. So we were sharing videos long before they made any money. There was no money involved for the first 2.5 to 3 years. It was just simply for the fact of sharing the information and sharing our life and helping other families. I didn't get into it thinking, oh, we're going to be rich one day from followers. That was never anything that crossed my mind. I didn't imagine that would ever happen. I worked outside of the home. Like I said, I went to school full time for 6 years. I got 3 degrees. Then I got a job. I worked the whole time I was raising Anna. She went to daycare and then she went to preschool, and that's where she was all day while I was working. And I hated it. I hated every minute of it because I just wanted to be with Anna all the time. I'm like, man, I wish I were one of those independently wealthy people that could stay home with my kid and just raise her and teach her. Because for one, Anna's freaking cool. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this kid, but she's awesome. And I've always loved spending time with her. People will be like, why don't you let her like go stay with somebody for a few hours so you can go shopping by yourself? And I'm like, why would I want to go shopping by myself? Like, this kid's awesome. Like, I want to spend time with her. I want to take her shopping. I want to go shopping with Anna. I don't want to go shopping by myself. So I've never felt like I needed time away from Anna because she's so cool. And on top of it, I'm raising a child with pretty serious health issues, like pretty serious special needs. So leaving my child who requires very specific care that is rare and no one knows anything about and no one knows how to take care of her, and I'm supposed to leave her with strangers every day? No, never liked it, never appreciated it, never wanted to do it. We were very lucky to find a daycare and a preschool for her, where the people who ran it were amazing and they figured it out. But it was always uncomfortable for me. And I always sat at work dreading the phone call that she just fell and hit her head, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that a lot of moms worry about those things with all kids, but with a child with special needs, way magnified. So I always hated working outside the home, and I always hated sending her to school. Then on top of it, let's add in the giftedness, because if you haven't noticed, she's pretty smart. I don't like to talk about it a lot because I don't like to make it the topic of conversation. But yes, she's been tested, and yes, her IQ is way up there, way higher than most people, higher than mine. And I'm sorry, both of my kids went to public school, but public school can't handle her. They cannot provide the level of physical care that she needs and provide the education that she needs.
The mental stimulation.
Yeah, there's no way. And private schools are actually worse because they don't have to abide by the same laws that public school does for taking care of kids with special needs. So there's all of these things involved in raising this child that people don't think about. And so the best case scenario for my child was to be home with her full time. That was the best thing for her, except I was a single parent and I couldn't do that. I had to work full time. So I did. I worked full time for years and I hated it. And then the pandemic hit. I lost my job in February of 2020. And we were already doing this thing with the page part-time, throwing up videos here and there. We had about 5,000 followers. So I was home full-time and, excuse me, crapping my pants because I didn't know what I was going to do for work or how we were going to make ends meet because I had just lost my job. Scared to death, decided to funnel that energy into making more videos with Anna. I'm home with her now. Why not? I had to pull her out of preschool because her preschool costs just as much per month as my rent. $1,400 a month for preschool, $1,400 a month for rent. So I had to pull her out of preschool at that point, and we were home together finally all the time, which was wonderful. And we started making more and more videos and posting them up on the page, and we started seeing some growth happen. Pretty cool. It was fun. We started making TikTok videos. We met Tabitha Brown, started watching her videos. And one day Anna wanted to make a video. She's like, let's make Tabitha's tomato sandwich. And I'm like, okay, let's make a cute little tutorial making Tabitha's tomato sandwich. And so we did that. And then Tabitha Brown saw it and she duetted it and it went viral. And then we had over 10,000 viewers. So at the point that Tabitha shared that video, because she was already going viral and had like 1 million viewers at that time, we triggered that magic number that Facebook has for monetizing our page. And this amazing, weird kind of twisted way that the universe works, or God, or whatever you want to call it, sorry, it makes me a little emotional to think about it because I just remember the few months before I lost my job, like October of the year before, so October 2019. I just remember being so miserable. And I've told this story before, so some of you might have heard it, but I was so miserable. I would walk to my car from work, and I would openly cry before picking up Anna from school because I just wanted to be home with her. And I remember begging whoever to please do something, like help me find a different job, help me figure out a way to stay home with her. So the way that things happened, like this weird kind of way that things work out, that, answered prayers, I guess, here you go, take your job away. and then, the page starts snowballing and ends up turning into a monetized page. And mind you, when it starts, it's not like, oh, I can pay my bills now. No, we're talking like $200 a month. But it started, and it took that whole first year. But finally, we got to the point where we could pay our bills with the ad revenue from posting our videos. And so I was able to stay home with her full time. I was able to do all of the things I wanted to do to homeschool her so she could get the education that I knew she needed, and she was capable of handling, so that she could advance beyond, whatever grade level she was in, so she could have her medical needs taken care of, so we could travel whenever we needed to for her medical care, and I didn't have to worry about how am I going to get 6 weeks off of work to go have surgery on her legs. Like all of those things that are part of our life because of her condition were solved by being able to work from home, by being able to do what we were already doing and sharing our life. Now we do it full time, and it takes care of us. And like I said, that's not traditional. Some people may not understand it, but this is how we live, and that's how we pay our bills. And it works for us, and it works for Anna, and it's the best thing for her. And yeah, I mean, you guys are saying it. Like, I don't know exactly what the source is, but I am so incredibly thankful. So that's how we live. That's how it became a full-time thing, kind of a fluke. Why is Aaron not working outside the home? So people are like, well, you have Aaron now. What is he doing for a living? He's doing the same thing I am doing. When Aaron and I decided that he was going to move here with us from California, I told him that he could not move in with us unless he was willing to not work outside the home. Anna is extremely high risk for this virus that's going around. She does not have all of the muscles necessary to expel mucus out of her lungs. So when she gets sick with even like a cold, things get stuck, which require suctioning, which require beating on her back, which require breathing treatments in order for her to just breathe. And I'm not willing for some few extra dollars for him to leave the house every day and potentially bring that home to her. So that is my stipulation, that he was not going to work outside the home while he was here, while we were here in Florida. Originally, we did talk about him finding something when we got back to Ann Arbor and once we were more stable, like in a stable place again. But then we realized that with stuff that's going on with Anna's acting and then her medical care, we're going to be back down here for another surgery this year. He would have to like leave his job every 3-4 months, and it just doesn't make sense. It's not necessary is the thing. We are able to pay our bills with what we make doing the videos. He helps with that in many ways. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And so he doesn't need to work outside the home. We work at home. We work from home. And on top of the ad revenue and other things, we are exploring other sources of revenue that are more onus just on us. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. We'll talk about that now. So the next topic is actually remote income streams. So I started taking voiceover lessons back about a year ago. Anna's been doing it for almost 2 years now. And so I decided that that was another way that I could earn income from home so that we're not just reliant upon the social media. So I started taking lessons. And then finally, right before Christmas, if you guys haven't heard it, it's on this page. I recorded my first demo, which I think is pretty awesome. I actually enjoy doing voiceover for commercials. I think it's a lot of fun. And so now I am going to find an agent and I am going to get work doing voiceover work for commercials and maybe some other things eventually. But that will be additional income into our family that isn't reliant upon social media, things that I can do from home still, so I can still take care of Anna, so we can still travel as needed. and just, more sources of income to keep things stable and keep us being able to do what we do and help other people. Aaron also started taking voiceover lessons, but he is learning more about like animation voices, like for cartoons and stuff like that. That's what he's really good at. Um, as you know, he's very talented, so maybe perhaps something with the art, but he doesn't want to do that full time, which I totally understand. So we'll see what happens with that kind of stuff. But there's definitely other things that we will be exploring over time, that we will be trying to do to add to our income, so that we're not just reliant upon social media, because as we have found in the last 3 months, it's not super reliable. And so we're always going to do this. This is something that we do and we enjoy. As long as Anna's down, we're down. But we do it as a family. And so we do need other sources of income. And yes, Anna does acting and she very much enjoys it. And that is a source of income for her, but that is not our money. And we will not be living off of Anna's acting money. Some of it may go towards things like headshots and travel and things that she has to do in order to continue doing what she does. But the vast majority of what's left after paying her agents will go into her bank accounts. And the whole point of me allowing her to delve into this child acting world was because I see it as an opportunity for her to build a nest egg. She is not going to be able to do a lot of things that other people can do to earn money as an adult. And I do not want her to end up being on disability her whole life. So if she can do this stuff now and she loves it and she's enjoying it, as long as she wants to do it and she's good at it, do it. And that money will build up. And then when she gets older and she wants to go to college and become a scientist or an astrophysicist or whatever it is she wants to do that day, she'll have the money to do that. And that makes me feel better, because at the end of the day, I am biologically her grandmother. And the reality is that by the time she's 40, I will probably be gone. And she needs to be able to live and take care of herself and have help if she requires it, because a lot of the most basic things that you all do on a daily basis, she simply can't do. She still needs help toileting. She still needs help dressing. She still needs help eating. And so that's just the reality of her life. And those are things that she's going to need money for. Let's see. Do we have any more? And how do we live?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the next section is Anna's day to day. But before we move on, anyone have any questions about our income, how we live? Any of that not make sense? I'm going to take a drink. Hour 30 minutes. We're not doing too bad.
Yeah, okay.
I'm getting through stuff. Oh, let's see. Is she on disability? She is not. When I adopted Anna, she became ineligible for any type of assistance. Like I said, we make enough money to pay the bills. It is more that when kids are on disability, their disability is based on the income of the parents. So if the parent makes enough money to not be below poverty, kids don't get any disability. And so she does not get any kind of government assistance. She gets no money. She gets no Social Security. She gets no paid for health care, none of that. In fact, not only did she lose her Social Security income when I adopted her, but she lost her health care. And so I had to start paying for a private health care plan every month, the best one that I can possibly buy, so that she has the most coverage, because her healthcare is so expensive. So I pay $1,000 a month just for her. It's 2,000. No, wait, 600. It's $2,200 a month for our healthcare. That's the premium for the basics of it. On top of that, there's a $8,500 out of pocket max per individual. We pay 20% co-insurance on everything, 50% of her orthotics. So her healthcare is not cheap. We pay a lot out of pocket for it. So I definitely did not do us any favors financially. That wasn't what it was about. I didn't care about that. I adopted her because she's my daughter. I've been raising her since she was a baby, and I wanted to make that legal so that she had a stable life going forward. Can she go to Shriners Hospital? No, she cannot, because they do not provide the care that she needs. They don't have the technology or the surgeons that have the ability or knowledge to provide the level of care that she needs. That's why we travel all the way to Dr. Feldman, who's one of the only 3 or 4 doctors in the world that can treat her. Any other questions? Do you pay healthcare for you and Aaron? Yes. Part of that $2,200, that's for all 3 of us, for medical, dental, and vision. Any other questions specifically about how we live, income? I can answer some of these other ones later, but I want to try to stay on topic. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate that. I've worked very hard. I really have. And I mean, everything I do is for Anna. It's all so that she can have the best of everything. It's always been for her to have the best education, the best health care, the best living circumstances. It's since my daughter was pregnant with her, it's all been for her. So Aaron does work doing the same thing you do. He helps, he's part of, we're a family of vloggers. So he helps the family. He's part of the household. Aaron doesn't do a lot of the technology stuff. I've been doing it for 6 years, so I know how to do it well and quickly and, get everything done. So I handle a lot of the technology and the organization and the structure of things. And he handles a lot of the heavy lifting and all the things that need to come off of my plate so I can focus on the technology. I feel like we make a pretty good team that way. Aaron is like rock star household helper. Like he helps Anna with everything she needs. He does the dishes, he does the laundry, he cleans the house. He like everything that needs to be done for me to be able to focus on taking care of our family. He's right there. And I could ask, not kidding you, I could ask this man to do anything and he would do it for us. Like he's really premium quality husband. I don't know how the heck he ended up apart. I really don't. I mean, where did you even come from? I don't know. But it's changed our life because I was doing everything myself and it was getting done. I was doing it. But man, I mean, some of you have noticed I was stressed. I was tired.
Staying up till like with the sun when the sun came up.
I'm not kidding you. Before Aaron came along, I was getting everything done, but I would wake up when Anna got up at 10 o'clock in the morning and I would stay up often until 4 or 5 a.m. working. Because the only time I could work on editing videos was after Anna went to bed, and she didn't go to bed until like 10 p.m. because she's a night owl and she sleeps in late, which is fine. I like it. It's perfect. It's good for her body. But I would be up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would sleep from like 5 to 10, and then I would get up and do it again over and over and over and over. And it was exhausting. And so my life has changed once Aaron came into our life in that regard. I mean, in many ways, but just talking about in that regard, because now I can go to bed with him at 1 o'clock in the morning and get a good night's sleep. And you know what? He puts her to bed. He wakes up with her in the morning. He feeds her in the morning. He helps with her braces. He gets her dressed. He helps with making food. He brings me drinks when I'm working, like not drinks like that. I don't drink like that. He brings me water. I mean, this man is, I don't even know now how I ever did it without him. But he is a huge part of this and a huge part of this family. And yeah, he's just as valuable as I am to everything. Okay, let's move on. I do have a shirt on under this. I'm hot. So excuse me, I'm not stripping. I don't do that for money. Okay. Ooh. Okay, where are we? We're going to talk about Anna's day to day. Everybody wants to know, what does she do all day? How we decide, extracurricular, online classes, social time, different ways of living, non-traditional. We're living in a non-traditional way because most people have to leave and go to work every day. And so they don't have a choice but to send their kids to public school or to daycare, because they have to go work and pay their bills. And I get it. I did that for many, many years. I understand. This is, you probably know other people who work from home. We work from home. This is our work. This is what we do. So Anna is growing up in some ways non-traditionally, and yes, that will, change, I guess, the trajectory or the outcome of her life in some ways, because she gets to grow up with both of her parents now in her home 24/7 with her, taking care of her, giving her what she needs. A lot of kids don't see their parents but a few hours of the day. They come home and their parents are still working. They have to maybe take care of themselves. I remember coming home from school and watching television for a few hours before my parents were available to help me with anything. So, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. That is the norm. But I am just acknowledging that the way that she's growing up is different from a lot of people. And so that will, have a different outcome, of course, because all of those variables determine the outcome of a person. She does have a lot of extracurricular activities that she's involved with. You've probably seen some of them. She's done chess class, she's done dance class, she's done voice class, like singing, she's done voiceover classes, she's done acting classes, she's done online educational homeschooling classes, she's had social time, she's homeschooled, as you guys know. So, does she get to spend time with other kids? Yes, regularly in her classes and in her extracurricular activities, which for the last 2 years have been remote because of this virus. Again, we explained why Erin can't leave the house to work every day is the same reason why she is not hanging out in person with other children. It is not safe for her. She cannot expel her mucus from her lungs if she is sick. So we do not take risks with her health and her life just for a play date. It's not worth it. On top of that, Anna, as you know, is very advanced for her age, and she has actually never liked playing with children her age. And that's one thing that annoys the crap out of me, is people constantly asking, does she ever play with kids her age? Why does it matter what age they are? I don't understand that. Blows my mind. It really doesn't matter what age the people are. I get the social structure thing. She did go to preschool for a year and a half. So she was around kids in that age group from the time she was 2, 1.5, up until the time she was 4. And those kids were between 2.5 and 5. So she did get time, but it's kind of like, honestly, child development, especially in a gifted child, is kind of like raising a dog. I don't mean that derogatory.
In that.
It's kind of like raising a puppy in the sense that there is a window of time where you need to socialize. Okay. Socialization is, of course, important, but there's a window of time where you have to socialize. There's a window of time early in child development where you need to be around other kids, where you need to be around scary things, where you need to be around different types of people, where you need to be exposed to all of this stuff because you're building internal representations of the world around you. And it matters. It really does. Anna got that. She got all of that. By the time she was 4, she had full exposure to all the places, all the things, all the people, all the kids. She got all of that. Her basis, her internal representations were set in a normal, typical, whatever you want to call it, kind of way, probably the same way your kids were, probably the same way yours were. She has that. But Anna is developmentally, cognitively, twice her age, and she always has been. So when she was 2, she was 4. When she was 4, she was 8. Now she's 6, she's more like a 12-year-old. So she's never enjoyed hanging out with kids her own age because cognitively they can't keep up with her. She can't have the same conversations with them that she can with older children. She can't have the same, you know, vocabulary, connect on the same level that she can with adults. And that's her comfort level. And people need to understand and respect that. Just because it is the norm for the average child to spend their days with children the same age does not mean that that works for everyone. This child is very advanced. She needs more stimulation. She's always been extremely mature for her age. And if I were to force her to stay in a group of kids her same age, I would be holding her back. And I'm not going to do that to my baby. She doesn't need that. She doesn't deserve that. She doesn't want that. So I am doing what I feel is best for her and socializing her with older children. That's where she fits in best. That's what she enjoys the best. Most of the kids that she hangs out with are between the age of 7 and 10. That seems to be her sweet spot right now. So even though cognitively she's more like a 10, 11, 12-year-old, I don't really have her hang out with 12-year-olds. She may encounter them, but it's not like the norm of her social group. So that speaks to, does she have time with other kids? Yes, she does. She has time with other little bit older kids who are on the same developmental and cognitive level as her. Why are there no other kids in our videos? Because, hello, they're not my children. That's a huge privacy issue.
And legal. Like, you gotta get
I would have to have people sign contracts saying that they're okay with their kids being, and there are certain situations. Like if you've met Anna's friend Ella, she's also a child actor. She's also in the public eye. And so Anna and Ella do some things online together, like they went live and made biscuits together. And that is, of course, a mutual agreement between her mother and I because, they're doing the same types of things. But I'm not going to just have her community friends, her homeschooling friends on videos just because people want to see her play with other kids. Like, that's just weird, guys. I don't know why everyone wants to see that. That's weird. People get on my case about how I'm exploiting my child, yet you want me to exploit other people's children? No. This page is about our family, us, me, Anna, Aaron. That's who you're going to see. On occasion, my son pops in and you might see him because he's cool with it. But I'm not going to, if you follow us, if you know our family, then you know that anytime we're out and about doing live streams, I work as hard as I can to keep other people off of our video. I try not to show people's faces because that's a privacy issue. I don't want to be showing other people without their permission. So that's why you don't ever see any other kids in our videos, and you probably won't ever, unless we're doing some kind of collaboration with somebody. We talked about Anna's health and this virus, and how we need to take care of her and keep her healthy. And we will continue doing that until she's, until everything, the world is in a place where she can safely, you know, I think that some of the first situations where she will be face to face with other children right now will be on set, when she books a job and she goes on set and there's other kids working. And those are right now very controlled situations. SAG has very high levels of expectation. No one in the industry is allowed to work unless they have all of their immunizations and they have proof of immunizations. They have very strict masking regiments, keeping socially distanced when you're not actually on set together filming, things like that. So I think that will be, like I said, some of her first interaction face to face with kids again will be that. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll get to the point where she can just go out and play with other kids in person again instead of online. I think that's about it for Anna's day to day, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these are common questions as far as like,
Oh, and how long is she actually online?
Right. On yeah.
Social media.
So a lot of these questions that I'm covering now are actually in our FAQs on our website. So if you go to amcprincessanna.com, you can click. Blah, 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 blah. See, I'm starting to blah, blah, blah.
Marble mouth.
Good thing we're almost done. You can click on the FAQ page and find answers to the most commonly asked questions. But yes, what did you say about?
Well, people are always asking.
Well, yeah,
like they think she's online like all the time.
Yeah, people comment a lot about like, oh, don't you ever give her a break? She's online all the time. No, we film at most 2 hours a day, just depending on what we're doing. Sometimes we get on and we do 2 live streams in one day. And if we do that, we've not done anything else. Sometimes we film little videos at home, like by ourselves, like that we post later. And then we do a live stream. So we try these days, because we're traveling, to do a 1 hour live stream every day. So that's like a given. And we don't always. There's some days, like it seems like the last couple Sundays we haven't gone live. But so there's 1 hour a day that we spend online. And then I snap photos at times throughout the day when something cute happens that I want to share. I take a picture of her just like any other parent. We've been making those reels lately, which has been a ton of fun. She actually really loves doing those when she gets all dressed up and we do all the stickers and the backgrounds and the sounds and stuff. She loves how those turn out. And then sometimes we make videos, but we've been doing that few and far between. This morning we made a video about putting K-tape on her foot, so I'll have to edit and post that one at some point. But yeah, she doesn't spend more than 2 hours a day like doing things for our social media. So I don't know why people think that she's always online. Maybe just because they see all the videos, they don't pay attention to the dates on them. They don't know, when they were made. And so they just assume that she's on all the time. Maybe it's because we are so open and share so much of our life that they just think that that's all we do. But the vast majority of our waking hours are spent within our family, by ourselves, not on camera, homeschooling, eating, cleaning, hanging out, whatever, we're doing as a family. So, and yeah, she is never, ever made to do anything. And if you have been following us for any length of time and you know my child at all, then you know that it's not possible to make her do anything.
You can't make that kid do anything.
She is very vocal, if you haven't noticed. She's extremely confident. She's been advocating for herself since she was 2 years old. And if she doesn't want to do something, she will let you know. You will see it on her face. You will feel it in her energy. Everyone will pay. So don't worry. She's not doing, there are times where we've said, hey, we should think about doing a live, or hey, I have an idea. Let's do this one thing. And she'll be like, I don't want to do that. And we're like,
all right,
okay, that's fine. We don't do that then. Yeah, she's very open and transparent and honest and forthcoming, very vocal. And I like that about her. That's the way I've raised her. I've raised her to be a strong child who has no problem speaking up. I mean, sometimes that turns into sassy. A lot of times that turns into sassy. But you know what? That's okay. She's going to be a leader, not a follower, and she is going to take the world by storm. And that's exactly what I wanted. So she does have a great scowl, and she uses it. So yeah, don't worry about her being taken advantage of. It's not going to happen ever. So does anyone have any questions specifically about Anna's day-to-day? I'm sorry, Dee. I know it's sweet dreams. Good night. I know it's getting late for people. Don't forget, you can always come back. This will be on the page. You can come back and watch the rest later. I raised my 24-year-old exactly the same way. She's still sassy, but no one's going to take advantage of her. See, that's right. Yeah, and if Anna ever gets to the point where she's like, forget this, I don't want to do this anymore, then we don't do it anymore. Or Erin and I do it alone if anyone cares. Like, I'm never going to make her be, I'm not going to be like, no, you have to do this. And that's the reason why I'm trying to diversify our income stream and find other things like the voiceover work that we can do from home, so we can continue doing what we're doing to take care of her, but still have, other sources of income, so that we don't have to rely, because I know this isn't going to be a thing forever. Like, we could lose electricity like any day now. Something could hit the planet, the whole grid could go down, and then what?
Facebook falls out of favor with the world.
Yeah, Facebook goes down and becomes non-existent. I mean, a billion things could happen at any moment. I don't want to say things and put bad juju out there, but you know what I mean? Like, anything could change any day, any time. And, this is not a reliable, like, nothing's reliable. Everything's up for drastic twists and turns. So we're doing the best we can with our current situation, just like I always have. And we'll continue to do the best we can for her, to give her the best of everything that I can possibly give her. I will go to the ends of the earth to make sure she has everything she needs. And, we roll with the punches. Life changes as it needs to. Yes, she is in 2nd grade right now. Will she be able to do her toileting and dressing all by herself? Lori, I think she will get to that point eventually. A lot of adult AMCers use things called a dressing tree to dress themselves. And they figure out how to do things like toileting and whatnot. You have to provide accommodations, of course. So we'll probably, when we get our new home, after we move out of Michigan and wherever we land kind of more permanently, we'll do up the bathroom for her and make sure she has, all the things she needs to do what she needs to do to take care of herself, of course. Because ultimately, the goal is independence. That's always been the goal, is independence. And so she has to learn how to take care of herself. I would love it if she could get through adulthood without requiring 24/7 assistance. That would be fantastic. So that's what we're always reaching for and always working for. Yes, and her service dog will help. Okay, so moving on to transparency, as I hope you have found if you've been hanging out for the last 2 hours, I am very transparent. I have nothing to hide. There's nothing that I'm trying to scam people or use my child to do anything. Like, I'm simply sharing our lives, and I'm pretty open. I'm pretty open book about anything. Just about. If you talk to any of our Patreon members, the people that we sit down and talk to face on a regular basis, they'll tell you that I talk about everything. I even talk about my daughter to them because I know them on a personal level. I'm not going to talk about her on the main page because it's a lot of people that we don't know, and it's not their business. But on a more private level with friends, I discuss some of those things sometimes. There are things that I will not discuss on the main page. um, Lex says, "Where is Aaron?" Oh, you brat. Um, the things that I won't discuss on the main page, topics that I try to avoid, are religion. Personally, I believe that religion is a personal choice, that everyone is able to decide for themselves what religion they want to believe in, have faith in, follow, whatever. And it is not my place to tell anyone else what they should believe, just like it's not anyone else's place to tell me what I should believe. And so we don't touch on that subject. That's a personal thing. That's within our household, that's between us. Um, we deal with that how we feel like dealing with that, and you can deal with that how you feel like dealing with that. And that's great. Good. I hope you do have some kind of, I don't care if your faith is in your dog, like, as long as you have something keeping you going every day and keeping your life positive, that's what's important. So, won't talk about religion. Don't like to get involved in politics. Some people say that I have. I discuss things that to me are not political, but are like civil rights type issues. There are some of those things that affect me, and I have talked about in the past, and I do talk to Anna about. And some people don't like that. It's okay. You don't have to talk to your kids about it, but I try not to, that's not like the highlight of our page. We're not a political page. We're not a religious page. That's just not, you know, where we're at with that kind of stuff. You can follow and do whatever you want as far as politics goes. It doesn't affect our life, just like what we do politically doesn't affect yours. I guess if you're the type of person who doesn't want to interact with people who don't agree on your political party lines, then maybe that's a problem for you. But it's not a problem for me if you have completely different politics, as long as you don't try to, you know, change our way of life.
I mean, I think if you just listen to people's hearts, that's you're gonna make more connections that way. You won't even have to get into politics or religion. You're just gonna talk to people and relate to them on I think, a better level.
And income, I don't discuss, and it's not like we just talked about our income and where it comes from, but I'm not going to show you my bank account, and I'm not going to give you numbers, and I'm not going to tell you where all my money goes, because that's just not your business. I wouldn't ask you, what you spend your money on. And so I expect the same kind of respect, that you trust that I have integrity and that I'm not trying to scam anyone or pull anything over. And I'm not, excuse my French, pissing away our money on things that are unnecessary. Just like I trust that you have integrity and you're taking care of your bills and your family the way that you need to. It's just not something that needs to be talked about. And then the final thing that I will not discuss is, of course, Anastasia's biological parents, because this is not their story. This is our story. And it is not my place to discuss the story and history of her biological parents. Um, including her father. It's not just about, my daughter, it's about her father as well. The reasons why things happened the way they did is between them and Anna and me, and it's a family thing, and it's not something for public consumption. As much as you might want to know, sorry, that's their business. So I won't talk about that. Let's see. The downside of being on social media. Like I said earlier, it's worth it. It's all worth it. But there are very difficult moments. There are a lot of hateful comments, a lot of them. As I'm sure you're aware, social media tends to be a playground for people who hide behind their profile and just like to type whatever they feel like typing without having any understanding or context of what they're talking about. People can be pretty brutal. I have seen all of it. I have seen a lot of people picking on, me, my weight, my eyebrows, which are very thick right now. People multiple times said, why don't you take care of yourself? Why don't you do your hair? Why don't you put on makeup? Why don't you fix your eyebrows? Why don't you lose weight? How are you going to take care of her if you're so fat? I have heard it all. Thankfully, I'm not super sensitive about those things. I mean, they do, of course, it hurts a little bit, but whatever. Like, get over yourself. I've been fat for 20 years. You think you can say anything to hurt my feelings more than I say to myself? Give me a break. So that kind of stuff happens. People are very ignorant about nationality and heritage, and they've said a lot of things about Aaron since he's been in the picture, including the most recent interesting comment was, "What breed of Indian are you?" Oh, and that happens, and that's just the way it is. People make hurtful comments about Anna all the time. Thankfully, she doesn't read a lot of the comments in most cases, but they talk about her arms and her legs and her hands and her eyes and why she looks so tired and why her pupils dilated and she's a spoiled brat. And I have even had people say things before about how she should have been aborted and why I'm parading my child that looks like a platypus around online. Um, things like that. There was only one comment, and I can't even remember now exactly what it was, but there was only one comment over the years about Anna that truly hurt me. But yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was. The rest of them, it's kind of like everything else. You take it with a grain of salt. Like people just
trying to like poke.
Yeah, they just mouth off, and that's just the way it is. And most of the time, if it's just an ignorant comment, I'll just delete it. If it's something that's truly spiteful and hateful, I will block them. I've blocked a lot of people over the years. We've got a block list 3 miles long because I won't hesitate. I'm not here trying to build as many numbers as possible. I don't care if you're a jerk, get the heck off our page. We don't need negativity in our life. We're here trying to be positive, trying to share our story, trying to help people. We're not here to be negative and make fun of you and, your life and the choices that you make. So I'm pretty quick to ban people off the page. Like if you want to say something, you want to tell me how to parent my child, you want to tell me why I'm a horrible person, you want to, whatever. Negativity, bye, gone. We don't need you. This is not, I don't care. Move on. You don't have to be here. Nobody is making you stay here. Be here because you want to be. Be here because you're getting something positive out of it. Don't be here because you want to be cruel. Take that crap elsewhere. It's not just comments. We get it by email. We get some pretty interesting emails. Um, I don't think I'm going to share them with you because there's really not much point in that. But yeah, there's some doozies. People get into email and they unload the same kind of thing. Really hateful, nasty stuff. So I mean, what can you do? The most recent one, excuse me, we just ignored it. I'm not going to engage with someone who seems to be a little bit unhinged. There's no benefit in that. I'm not going to change their mind. They're not going to change my mind. So you just ignore as much as possible, right? Just as bad as the hateful comments can be the sense of entitlement. People somehow get into this weird place where they think because they've followed us for a long time that they are entitled to whatever information they want about us, that they are entitled to answers and responses when they want them. I've seen some people get really bent out of shape about not getting acknowledgement on a live stream. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Like, I get that people spend a lot of time and they get invested, but no one who follows us is entitled to anything. We share what we share, we give what we give, and we do it openly and with love in our heart. And um, that take what we have, and if that's not good enough, I don't know what to tell you. I just can't, we can't do this for everyone. We can't be everything for everyone. So I am sorry if that leads to hurt feelings sometimes, if people feel like they should be getting more than they're getting. But sometimes if it gets to that point, we just have to cut ties and move on separate ways. Um, a lot of unsolicited advice. And that one's really hard for me because it bothers me because I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face. It makes me feel like you think that I am some kind of idiot. And I'm like, have I not proven that I'm not an idiot? But a lot of unsolicited advice. Like, people think that we post a video. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. We posted a video some months ago about how I wash Anna's hair when she has casts on her legs. Serial casting is a process that happens regularly, like every year. And I wanted to share how we do that because I figured it could help some people, right? It could help other AMC families when their kids have had surgery. It could help even people that don't have AMC. And so we shared the product that we buy and we showed everyone how we wash our hair and how we scrub it out with a towel and how cool it is. That video was full of comments from people who thought they knew better. People who gave advice as to what we should be doing other than what we were doing. That was not the point of that video. If I want your advice as to what to do or how to do something or what I should be using, I will ask you. I will say, hey guys, anybody have any ideas about this?
And she does.
And I do that when I want, opinions and ideas. But sometimes we're just sharing the way we do things, and we're not asking for improvements or corrections or better ways. Like, it's exhausting to hear everyone say, well, that you should have done it like this. Well, we didn't. That's not how we do it. Do it the way you do it. We do it the way we do it. If you want to share how you do it, make your own page, put up your own videos, and if I happen to watch them and I say, oh, that's cool, I'm going to do that, great. But don't would you walk into someone's house and see them doing something and say, you really should do it like this. Why don't you do it this way?
Some people do.
Some people do. Okay, well, maybe you would, but I wouldn't because that's weird. Like, I would not go over to a stranger's house or even a friend's house. And, maybe a close friend, I might say, like, hey, have you ever heard about this or whatever, for some things. But I don't know. The unsolicited advice, Andy says, I would. The unsolicited advice can get to be a bit much sometimes, especially when people don't understand the entirety of the situation. They don't understand the context. They don't understand the history. They don't understand her condition. They don't understand her needs. And yet they're still trying to tell me how to parent her best. It gets tiring. So that's just one of the downsides, of being online. And I know people, the thing is, when I bring this stuff up, people are like, well, you chose to share your life online. Therefore, this is what you get. Okay. But no, I don't have to deal with it because I can control who follows our page. That's what the block button is for. So if people just want to be crappy all the time and be negative, like, you can just leave and I don't have to look at it anymore. Like, I mean, it's not what we signed up for. It's not an excuse to bully and be mean. I do understand that with being on social media comes negative attention. I do understand that. And believe me, we deal with negative attention all day, every day. But some of it, maybe could be curbed. Um, Creepers, pedos, yes, they're out there. People sometimes talk as though I'm like naive to that fact. I'm not. I can guarantee you that there are at least 200 creepy men following our page right now for the wrong reason. And that's just the way it is. That's how it works. There's nothing that I can do to prevent that, other than lock our life down and not be online, which is, that's not our life. It's just not our life. This is part of the deal. Thankfully, no one has ever made me feel uncomfortable to the point where I have been concerned about our safety. It could happen still. There have been some lewd comments, especially recently. In fact, there were 2 comments left the other day by someone I'm pretty sure was just a troll. I didn't feel like they were actually someone to be concerned about. They were someone who was probably leaving the comments for shock value. But that was about the most extreme comments that have happened so far. She did get a couple things in the mail last February for Valentine's Day that I did not appreciate, that seemed a little off kilter. And if you guys remember, that is why I shut down the mail. That is why I said, please do not send her any. We're not doing any more live openings, because I felt like in doing the live gift openings, we were soliciting those types of interactions. People would look at that as an opportunity to get that stuff to her and be able to see her open it. And I'm like, no way in hell am I giving you that satisfaction. So we stopped the whole live opening thing. I still let her read cards online for you guys so you can see her getting those, but I do monitor everything before she opens it. I read every card, I open it, I look through it, every package, everything that comes in the mail is checked by me first. So yeah, that's a thing, and I'm aware of it, and we do our best to keep an eye on people that we see that might be a little bit concerning. And and when I say we, I mean myself, Erin, and our moderators. And we try not to block those people unless they're doing something. Typically they don't. See, that's the thing that I understand about that situation, is that the people that you really need to be concerned about are not going to be on the page making a spectacle of themselves. They're the quiet ones. They're the ones who don't comment. They're the ones who are just watching. Those are the ones you need to be concerned about. And the problem is when we do block people, if someone is like constantly, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, but if for some reason we see someone and we're like, you're a little weird, we don't block them, because once we block them, they can still see the page, but we can no longer track them. So sometimes we will leave people unblocked just so we can keep an eye on them and know where they're at and what they're doing. And it's the same kind of awareness I need to have. And going into this child acting thing, dealing with producers and directors and people in the industry. And I have already had all the talks with Anna. I am not one of those moms who leaves my baby ignorant. She knows about sexual abuse. She knows about bad touching. She knows about red flags. She knows about how people are out there that will try to hurt her. And she knows what to do to take care of herself, to try and protect herself, to not be alone away from me, to tell me if things happen. She's aware of these things. And I will continue to have those discussions with her regularly, and continue to make sure that she remembers about those things. And as she gets older, I will continue to add more appropriate information to that so that she can understand. And so we can do the best to keep her safe, because that is obviously the highest priority. When we move into a house eventually, with all of the attention that is coming from the growth of the page and from her acting career, I want to be in a gated community. I want to have an alarm system, not leaving anything open to chance. So I am not out here flopping around my child as bait. That's not happening. Um, what else? Fake profiles and spammers. Unfortunately, that's a thing on Facebook. It's annoying as all get out, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Um, Facebook has made it really difficult, other than like blocking them from the page. I know that they prey on you guys. I know that they're constantly trying to send you friend requests and pretend to be us and get money from you and get you in the private messaging. Just the best thing that you can do as far as that goes is educate yourself and protect yourself. Know that as a page, we don't even have the ability to send you a friend request. We will never send you a friend request. So if you get a friend request from someone that looks like they're trying to be us, it's not us. Don't accept it. Report them for impersonating our page and block them so that they don't bother you. Unfortunately, a large part of our demographic is older women, like above age 40, above age 60. And they don't know all of the ins and outs of social media. And so they are very vulnerable, and we're aware of that. And we try to keep on top of it as best as we can. But we can't get rid of their pages that they've made. Like Facebook doesn't really allow us a way to do that. So we try every now and then to educate people, to explain, don't accept friend requests, all that kind of stuff. It's like the best we can do. Yeah, I think that's it. I already talked about that just now.
Oh, like with the people that pretend like they're like, oh, I saw your profile.
Yeah, I just said. So are there any questions? This is we have one more little section after this. Are there any questions about the downside of social media? Any questions about that specifically? What time is it here? It's 12:24 a.m. Thank you for doing this. You're welcome. Do you mind if someone asks, have you ever tried? No, Betty. And that is kind of part of it. Like it's all in how you say it, right? Like if you're like, hey, I noticed this and I was just, have you ever tried? Like that's kind of a nice way to go about it. But if you're like, you should blah, 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 and I'm like, you should leave me alone. That's the stubborn side of me.
This one does not like people telling her what to do.
Do not tell me what to do. I have worked my whole life to be smart, to be capable, and to be on top of things. I don't need a mom. I already have one. Please don't tell me what to do. That's just me. Do you have any other AMC Anna groups out there? I've encountered a group, but I didn't join. We do have, so we have the Facebook supporter group, which is called AMC Princess Anna's Royal Friends. But that group you can't join unless you are a Facebook supporter. We have a Patreon supporter Facebook group, and that is called AMC Princess Anna's Royal Family. And again, you can't join that group unless you're a Patreon supporter. You can try, but I won't let you in unless you're a Patreon supporter. We did have some other groups, but I got rid of them recently. I got rid of the fan page. We had a group for selling, we used to sell Usborne books when we were fundraising for her leg surgery. I got rid of that group. So I don't think there's anything else. I think I've tried to pare it down to make it less confusing for people and not have so much to be worried about.
Oh, there's her acting page too.
Yeah, her acting page, but that's not AMC Princess Anna. That's Anna Lee. So Karen, I already talked about that a couple of sections ago. So you might want to, if you came in late, watch the video over later and you can hear all about that. You're welcome. Wendy, send me a message if you have like a link or a screenshot. I'd be curious to know what it was, what it is. So the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we go, and then I'll open it up for any questions. We'll answer some questions for a little while before we say goodnight. The last thing is we do have a need for helpers. The page is growing. It's over 400,000. We're pretty soon we're going to hit 500,000. How crazy is that? And if she starts doing something with her acting this year, I'm pretty sure we will quickly hit 1 million. So we need help. Like we have moderators. We have some great moderators, but they're tired. They've been doing it for a while and they're all in the Eastern time zone. So, it would be nice to have some more moderators. It'd be nice to have a moderator or two in the Pacific time zone. It'd be great to have a moderator or two in the UK or in Australia or someone who can be keeping an eye on things while we're sleeping. That would be really awesome. But the thing is, I'm super picky. I have really high expectations. And so I don't want to let anyone have that level of control over the page unless A, they know what they're doing. So that means you got to have experience moderating a Facebook page. B, they have to know what we are doing. So that means you have to have been following us long enough to know our story, to know how to answer questions about us, to know the details of Anna's condition in our life, and if I'm mom or grandma, and all those things. C, I need to know who you are somewhat. So if that is something that you're interested in, if you meet those first two qualifications, if you have experience, 3, you have experience, you're in a different time zone, and you know us well, I would suggest, if you're interested in becoming a moderator, that you join Patreon. I know that sounds weird. I hate the fact that I'm like, pay money to, but the thing is, that's the only way that I can get to know you. And I need to get to know you before I let you into that fold. So if that's something you're interested in and you're serious about it, become a Patreon member so we can hang out, so I can see your face, so I can talk to you, so I can get to know you. And then after maybe a couple months or something of me getting to know you and seeing that you're a real person and you're not too weird, because I'm weird, then maybe then we can make that happen. But yeah, that would be nice to have some helpers. The other thing that we are looking for, but I think our CPA is going to help with this, we need a social media marketer. Like I said, one of our big goals for this year coming up is to expand our YouTube audience. And so someone who understands how Facebook and YouTube ads work and how the ad revenue works and how the algorithm and getting more people to see your content works. I'd love to talk to and work with somebody who knows those things. So if there's anyone following us who that just happens to be their thing, I'd love to talk to you. And you can email us. Otherwise, I'll probably end up meeting with some people through our CPA and paying someone a little bit of money to do that. And then the third thing that would be really awesome is a caption creator. This is a really fun job for someone who, again, I would need to get to know, but basically you would go on our videos and fix the captions, because it is really important that people who have difficulty hearing have those captions. Incredibly important. It's also important, more recently, for people who don't speak English. And Facebook has now generated auto captions for other languages, which is really awesome. But I would love to have someone on board who handles the captions on our videos and goes back through and fixes them and makes sure that they're accurate and that they don't say weird things like AMC Princess Santa. And for a while there, I was collecting all the different ways that the Facebook auto captions were changing her name. There were so many AMC Princess weird names. So that's something else. So just final thoughts are, we can use some help. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to shut up for a minute, go off book, and let us know if you have any questions. Maybe you can make him talk because he's just been sitting there doing nothing.
The moral support.
I'm real and weird, right? And yes, you are real and weird, and I love you. Sharon is my assistant who just came on board recently and is helping with emails, and I love her so much. So that's amazing to have that level of help. I was so woefully behind on emails, like months and months of emails that I just didn't have time. Will you be releasing a line of Aaron merch?
What would that be?
What would that even look like?
Yeah.
Someone commented, can Aaron speak Japanese? A little bit. He can.
Squishy.
Someone commented yesterday on the live and left some comment like, man, Aaron's looking even more sexy since he got married. What's going on with that? So funny. Those kinds of comments crack us up. They're so funny. Loved your cooking shows. Thank you. We love doing the cooking shows. Unfortunately, you probably won't see a lot of those for a while because our kitchen back in Ann Arbor is so small. Does it bother you when people make personal requests to Anna, like ask Anna to say hi to me? Yes, Leanne, that's a very good question. It really does bother me because, first of all, when people get on a live, and I've seen some people say things like, I'd like a shout out. I'm a monthly supporter, or Anna, say my name, or Anna, it's my birthday, or Anna, sing a song. I mean, for the most part, it just rolls by and it's not a big deal. But I mean, it kind of falls into that entitlement thing. And also sometimes if it's one request, it's not a big deal. Like people are going to ask for stuff like that. But when people get really demanding about it, it's kind of like she's not a performing monkey. Like she can't just like drop and perform for you, because you want her to. Like that's not what she's here for. So,
well, and if you really want her to say a message, there's a Cameo page.
Yeah, but then that kind of gets into the whole like you have to buy it thing, and and that's weird. But
if it's not important to you,
I just there's levels, right? Like there's certain levels, like it's fine, it's not a big deal, and then there's some other people who kind of take it far, and so yeah, it can be bothersome depending on how it is. Aaron, how has your life been with all the recent changes in your life? New wife and daughter and media.
It's I don't know. I love it. It just seems it's like a new adventure that I never even expected to embark upon. So it's great. It's been awesome.
Well, that's good because at least it's not been like you're like, forget this. I'm out of here. Enough is enough.
No, that's cool. Every day there's something new.
It is fun. It is an adventure. I mean,
Mm.
people, I guess, like I said, people, it goes back to people thinking that she's like working all day and recording all the time. And I tell you, like most of the time what we're doing, well, all the time what we're doing, she's enjoying it. Like it's stuff that we wouldn't even do otherwise. Like we have to brainstorm and think of like what different thing can we share with everyone today. And so it leads to us doing these projects and activities that we probably wouldn't have done otherwise, right? Like we would have done something more typical or just, same things we do or whatever. Like it really helps us grow and expand our family and our lifestyle and what we're doing. So
I mean, I can say for myself, I used to be a professional commercial illustrator, and I stepped away from that, and I just didn't have any desire to do any type of drawing or creative thing on my own. It just was just not interesting to me anymore because I got burnt out on it. But since I've been, with Anna, I've, been really enjoying doing creative stuff and drawing and doing stuff I didn't think I'd get back to. So, I mean, that's been awesome.
where does Aaron get all his awesome t-shirts? I love them. So actually we sat down a few months ago and went to this one site and like sat there for probably like 2 hours and picked out a whole bunch of fun t-shirts for the live streams. And that for us it's a business expense. It's something that we expense against the business because he's wearing them for the live streams. So he and Anna both have a wardrobe for the purpose of making videos. I mean, legitimately, this is in some senses a business. We own a corporation. I am a CEO of our company, and things that we need to have in order to make videos are considered business expenses. So the technology that I have to use to do the work, that's a business expense. And they have a wardrobe. Aaron wears different t-shirts, Anna wears different dresses, and that stuff is expensed against the business. I don't do it for myself. I pay for my clothes out of our own pocket because I don't buy myself a lot of clothes because I hate wearing clothes because I'm fat. Just being real with you, I'm not being self-deprecating. I am a bigger person. I'm not comfortable in a lot of clothes, and so I really hate trying to find new clothes. So I find something comfortable and I stick with it. And I don't buy myself a lot of clothes because I don't like them. So I don't worry about that as far as, I go. Plus, I'm behind the camera most of the time anyway. So you guys can't even see me. So it doesn't matter. But Anna, she's on camera. And so she needs to, wants to, loves to look beautiful. Someone asked if she
Today, yeah.
Someone asked if she wants to wear dresses or if she's made to wear dresses. This girl loves dresses. Like she is a dress connoisseur. And she loves to be dressed up and prettied up, and that's her thing, and that's fine. I dig it. It's fun. I like getting her ready. She loves to get ready. She loves to show off what she's wearing, and so yeah, that's a thing. So his t-shirts we pick out to please you guys.
But I love
and to
wearing.
please
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Let's be real. I enjoy them too.
Yeah, it's a fun part of doing this, I guess.
Yeah, it's a perk.
Yeah, it's a perk. Oh, Trace just joined Patreon. Yay!
Hey, welcome.
Excited to get to know you. Thank you. It's a fun group over there. I mean, they're pretty active. Make sure you join the Patreon Facebook group because everyone hangs out over there and chit chats with each other. And
Post stuff.
will you be on the air while you're in the process of moving? Yes. We're not going to. I mean, that's part of our story, right? The whole reason we vlog is to share our story and all of the moving around and the travels. It's all part of our story. So we can't not share that with you guys.
That's pretty exciting part, I think. Especially if you're not actually having to move yourself.
Yeah, you get to see where we're going.
You get the fun part.
What we're doing. Does Anna pick out her own dresses? That's their thing that they do in the morning,
Yeah.
and she does pick out her own dresses. She and Aaron have had actually arguments over dresses because he will have some idea in his head of what he wants her to dress up with. Star Wars, and then she will be like, "No, I want to wear the unicorn dress." So yes, she picks out her own clothes. But he is a rock star at matching her dress shorts, which are the shorts she wears underneath so that her underwear doesn't show, and her socks and, all of the accessories that go along with it. He's really good at that.
It's all the color theory.
Yeah. Yeah. How many shirts does Aaron have? I think now he only came with like, yeah, like maybe 8.
I have tons in storage.
That's why I was like, okay, we got to get you some more shirts, because he didn't have hardly any shirts. Now he probably has like 20, you think? Maybe 20.
And another 40 in storage.
Yeah, Aaron still has a storage unit out in California. We have to eventually get out there and pick up the rest of his stuff. It's a small one, but
it's got some very important things.
Has Aaron ever had his hair short?
Yes. I actually, from the time I was 19 or 20 till the time I was about 40, I had a buzz cut. I looked like a monk. Then I figured this might be the last time I'd be able to grow my hair out before I lose it. So I'll shave it off before I have a Hulk Hogan haircut.
How large of a storage unit are you sending back to Ann Arbor? Martha, we got a U box from U-Haul. So it's like 5 feet wide and 8 feet long and 7 feet tall. So we're putting all of our excess stuff in there and shipping it back to Ann Arbor so that we can lighten the load in the van and take the things we want. But we're leaving a lot of stuff that we purchased here for the house, because we don't need any more furniture or anything back home. And we'll have some stuff that we have to get rid of, like just odds and ends that we'll just post up on Facebook and say free on the porch, come pick it up if you want it. But yeah, they definitely acquire. We're keeping our tree. We're keeping our 10-foot tree, because that is the guideline for our new house. It must support the 10-foot tree. Aaron, I love your hair. You can always get extensions. You guys are funny. I don't know if you guys realize it, but in many ways, you guys bring us joy, just like we do you. I mean, even if we don't have the opportunity to get to know you personally, like I said, if you're commenting, if you're on the lives regularly and you're commenting all the time, we get to know your name. We know that you're a regular part of our life. We know that you are regularly supporting us by being there and watching our videos and following our story. And that really does mean something to us. And I don't often get the opportunity to say that to you guys, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you for being here. We appreciate you for learning about us, for sharing information about Anna's condition, for caring about us and caring about her and following our story. It's really important to us. And I appreciate each and every one of you for what you bring to the table, for what you bring to our life, for being a part of our life. Like I said in the beginning of the live, there were a couple of comments yesterday that really just, hit my heart and made me cry. I mean, I feel there's definitely a sense of responsibility and obligation in doing what we do. It's not just selfish. It's not just us doing this to make money and sharing what we share. And, there's a lot of people following our life who look forward to seeing us every day and rely on our company on a regular basis. And I understand that. And I can relate and I can have empathy for that. And, we love you guys just as much as you love us. So please know that, even if we don't know you by name, even if we don't know what you look like, we do care about you. I think we should probably wrap up, because it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes and I don't know how many people are going to watch this back. So I think, that's probably, I hope I've covered everything. Um, I hope I've answered a lot of questions that have been out there. Do you read comments after lives or replays? Sometimes, but there's no way to get through all of them. There's so many. So I try to we scroll back through at night when we're sitting in bed before we go to sleep, and catch what we can and respond to as many people as we can. But we do the best we can. All right, guys. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. If you were here the whole time,
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. Yeah, that's some serious dedication. Thank you. And this video will be here on the page. If you missed any part of it, you can go back and watch what you missed. If you see anyone in the comments section going forward asking questions that we covered tonight, feel free to direct them to this video. Feel free to grab the link to it and share it and save it. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our life and for helping us continue to do what we do and share our life with all of you. We love you. Have a good night.
Bye.